Getting a job has now become impossible. The job market has been bad for quite a while now. That's no secret. But now in 2025, it's pretty much impossible to get a job. I do not see any light at the end of the tunnel. The worst part is knowing it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. I remember being 16, 17 years old, way back when I was in high school. During class, I would frequently use Reddit and just browse, and I saw many posts of people saying that they can't get a job. Despite the fact that they have degrees or experience, there were a lot of people saying that their degree is useless. There were people talking about how they work retail, despite having a master's degree, and I was terrified. I was like 17 years old. This is before COVID, like 2018, 2019. I was terrified because I was never really academically gifted. And in a world where people that are academically gifted, people that do good with academics, typically they make more money and they find good jobs. So I was afraid because my entire life they told me, do good in school and you'll have a good life. I was like a C student at best. So when I saw all of these people that are actually, getting good grades, they got their degrees, and yeah, they were still stuck. So I was like, there's no hope for me then. But time went on and I went to college. And then years went on and I was eventually in the same exact position as those people that were complaining online. And when it's time to actually get a job and make a living, I apply to jobs and I hear crickets. I've spent way too long applying to jobs. So much time out of my life was spent doing something that provided no results, and it's truly depressing. And the crazy thing is, there's really not much we can do about it. The job market is atrocious, right? Companies are paying mediocre wages, and they do this because they can. This entire world is run by companies. If a company wants to lay off a bunch of employees because they see them as useless, they can do whatever they want and there's going to be no consequences. The people that are actually affected, meaning, the average person, the worker, the system isn't really designed to care about them. So it's a completely rigged game, right? Even if you do what people tell you to do, you go to school, you go to college, and you get that job, you could just be discarded at any moment. And again, there's nothing you can do about it at all. We are powerless. The only thing you can do in this horrible time is keep applying. That is literally all you can do. Despite knowing that this is a rigged game, that companies are not really hiring that much, that your entire application could just be discarded because you didn't have a keyword, despite the fact that companies are exploitative and they can do whatever they want, the only thing we can do is, please hire me, and then we make cover letters for companies that will never respond. But yeah, it's completely depressing. And what I really don't like is how so many people in this society, they internalize the failures of the system and they blame themselves. So many people feel the need to put themselves down and talk about how much of a failure they are, when in reality, it's not really your fault. There's so many factors that come into play regarding where we're at in life compared to others. The people that you are jealous of that have high-paying jobs, they likely had connections, they had their resources, or it could just be luck, or it could be nepotism. I'm just really tired of this thinking that I'm a failure just because of a rigged game. Like, it's not your fault. The system is literally intended to be this way, so they can make you miserable. That's the truth. I saw one interesting comment on my last video, and basically this guy said, dude, changes can happen in society. It doesn't always have to be like this. And of course, I agree. I'm not saying that society is going to always be like this, but here's my point of view. Who cares if in 100 years things get better? There's so many people living in the here and now that cannot live their ideal life because of this screwed up system, because of this screwed up economy. Companies are going to be in power for as long as we live. They're always going to be exploitative. Again, the only thing we can do is just keep applying, hope they call us back, and then we go to an interview and hope the interviewer hires us. By the way, I always found this process just so dehumanizing. Whether we can live or not, whether we can eat or not, it all depends on things that are really out of our control. Will this hiring manager like us? Will they like the answers we give? Will they like my personality? Do they think I'm qualified? The whole concept of a job interview and the whole process of this, what makes it so dehumanizing is that we have to jump through all of these hurdles and all of these loops, and all we really want to do is just to afford food, to afford water, to build the lives that we want, to have fun. You literally have to beg and beg for a job. Please guys, please master, please hire me. I want to afford food. Please hire me, master, I want to make a living. And it's kind of always been this way, to be honest. In history, people that were poor, peasants, they wanted to take care of their families, and what did they do? Well, they begged for jobs. Except for them, it was in person. Now that we made it all digital, we think it's, different when it's not. We're still just peasants begging the lords, the masters, the slave owners, which pretty much in this case is the companies. We're begging them just so we can make a living. And I don't really like this at all. Personally, in my case, I'm stuck in a job that I hate, and I really can't do anything about it because the job market sucks. I open up Indeed, or any other job searching website. I scroll for like a few minutes and then, nowadays I don't even apply. I just stop looking after a few minutes, because what's the point of applying anymore? I've already been there, done that. Most of them don't even give you a call back. Most of them just ghost you, or you get that email that says, "Thank you for your application. Unfortunately, we found other candidates." Like, why even try at that point, you feel me? And in my case in particular, I'm very stuck. Again, this job I have right now is completely miserable. So I was thinking I would just get another job. But what am I met with? Most of them are low paying. Most of these jobs are like 15, 16 an hour. They ask for years of experience. And by the way, I am not gonna take these jobs because, first of all, I make more than that. Second of all, I did not go to 4 years of school just to take a 15 an hour job. You see, that's not gonna happen. And if you're wondering why these companies are paying so little, again, it's because they can. People will always be applying to these jobs, and these companies know that you can't make a living off of it. They do not feel the need to increase the pay because people will always take it. The only time they're gonna increase it is when people start calling them out. When people start realizing, wait, this is unlivable. When people start realizing, wait, this is kind of low, like you can't live off of this. Only then is when these companies are going to raise their salaries. They're basically exploiting people's desperation. People take these jobs because there's no other option. It's either that or you starve. So then people take these mediocre $12 an hour jobs, and no matter how much time goes on, the company does not raise that pay. Or if they do, it's like $1. This one retail company I used to work for about 3 years ago, they started me off at $12, which at the time I didn't really care because I was like 21. But I looked recently and they only pay $13 now. So over the past 3 years, they only raised the base pay by $1. And $13 an hour is completely pathetic. You literally cannot live off of that wage. But people are still going to be taking the job, so they're gonna keep it low. Sometimes I think, if this is the world we live in, like, why even bother? Like, why do I even continue? I don't really know what my future is gonna be. And by the way, it's not like I want to work, but I need to work. But it seems like it's impossible. At this point, it's pretty much entirely luck. It's luck and connections. It doesn't matter if you're qualified, it doesn't matter if you're experienced, it doesn't matter if you have a degree, it just doesn't matter anymore. And again, it's only gonna get worse. But I learned one thing. I'm not gonna internalize this and call myself a failure, because this is not my fault. I used to do that all the time. I used to be like, oh my god, I'm so behind compared to everyone else. But that's not the case anymore. The way I see it now, this entire rat race is just one big game, and some people just automatically are advantaged in this game. Some people are automatically disadvantaged. Some people, they can try to level up and their efforts won't really yield any results. The way I see it now, I just kind of laugh at the whole game, the whole concept of this game. Because really, the game is the one that's a failure, not you. The game has failed you. This entire concept of having to be productive in order to survive, that's the joke here. That's the ultimate joke. Society is the joke. Society is the failure. Because this system is not how life was supposed to be. Life was not supposed to be measuring each other's value based off of money. And by the way, one guy commented on my last video and he asked if I was exploiting people's emotions to make money. Basically, he was trying to question the intent of my channel. He's like, why do you make so many videos? Are you trying to exploit people for money? He's not the only guy that said this. I had a few other people tell me that I'm trying to exploit people for money. And you can tell these comments are just completely brainwashed people. Because let's be real here, right? I'm sitting here talking about things that people can relate to. I'm literally just speaking my mind. And someone's going to twist that into, you're exploiting people. How the hell am I exploiting people when I'm not the one that's forcing you guys to watch this? I mean, when I made my first video, I got like, 20 views in like a week? And then it just randomly picked up by the algorithm, and then it got 10,000, and then, that's how my channel grew. People are coming to watch me. I'm not exploiting anyone. People see 9-to-5 jobs as just, the default. If you're doing something else, well, people see it as different and they question your intent. I make content. I talk about my life experiences. The visuals of my videos are typically me just skateboarding or just me taking a walk. I am making original content. There's YouTubers making thousands and thousands off of clickbait, lying, and yet people have a problem when someone just wants to talk about their own life, when someone wants to share their worldview. Which, by the way, this is going to lead me to my final point. Since the job market is so bad and getting a job has become impossible, I highly encourage people to pick up another way of making money. It doesn't really matter what it is. Just pick it up, and maybe you won't need a job. Maybe eventually you can just live off of whatever that is. So to me, it's really cool sometimes just seeing how people can make money in different ways. Because if the system ain't working, if applying to jobs ain't working, then we gotta do something else. It doesn't matter what it is, even if it makes you a mere $100 a month. So I definitely encourage people to explore more ways of making money. Now, if you're a guy watching this video that makes 100K, this isn't really targeted towards you, although I still do recommend you take my advice because that job, once again, can get rid of you whenever they want. And if they do, you're not making an income at that point. You're not doing anything. But yeah, that's all I got today. So if you enjoyed, please click subscribe. please click like, and yeah, take care.